one of the guys that get a lot of credit is Steve Blackman for muscular development. I mean, those guys have done an extraordinary job for years and years and years to promote health, to promote fitness, to promote strength, to promote bodybuilding, powerlifting, weightlifting, and all of those kind of things. So the contributions they made is gigantic, and I hail them for that.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Raw Online Report, or this is really just, let me start over. Hey everybody, welcome to Milos Sarshev breaking down the Arnold Classic Australia. Milos was right there in the front row in Melbourne and saw all the action. Thank you, Milos. I actually have to thank you because the webcast was not working during the judging at all. And all I could see for a long time was the pictures you were posting. And a lot of people around the world were looking at your pictures you were taking there with your phone. So thank you. Your coverage was like all we were getting at the moment. And
well,
Dennis,
you know, I'm not really a technical guy, but I know that a lot of fans around the world would like to see what's happening on the stage. Then I heard that there is no broadcast. It's just like, oh shit, let me try to contribute. So I was snapping a few photos and then immediately sending. Now, internet was not too good, but I guess you guys at least, got some coverage.
I mean, it was you taking pictures, and Dennis James had his Instagram live. So you two were like doing the only coverage of the judging that was live.
There you go. He was smarter. He did live. He didn't have to snap, wait for a right moment to take a picture. Right. But yeah, let's go into the contest. Before I go with what was happening on the stage, let me tell you what was happening before the stage.
Yeah.
I've seen Rolly Winkler in Tony Doherty's gym like on Thursday, and of course I'm a big fan of his physique. A couple of years ago, I was also saying he can be Mr. Olympia, and then people were saying all kinds of stuff, but I really do think he has that kind of potential. Then I told him, like, look, man, at your level right now, I mean, you know what it means being number one and also competing. If you are number one, you can make millions of dollars, right? So let's put this in perspective. For all the other guys, they're contenders. So like, please, get your stuff together, and show up at your best. So he says, oh, do you mind, I'll show you what I look like. So he stripped the clothes off. Of course, everybody wanted to take a pictures, but he didn't allow them. He was considerably better, and I put on my Instagram, I don't know if you've seen it, he's going to be very hard to beat because there's considerable improvement.
Yeah.
Now, I had no idea that, I guess Chris Cormier worked with him, helped him, in the last couple of weeks, so I want to give him credit. It was a wonderful job. There was pretty much closest to, best Rolly I've seen, but I haven't seen him in so many shows. I wasn't following the some European shows and American shows for a while. He really, made such an impact for me that I knew he can put Dexter and William in trouble, and that's why I wrote it. Now, William showed up just like he was at Arnold, Ohio, I think.
Yeah.
For me, William is so complete, so compact, matured, and so dense. I mean, I talked to Neil Hill, his coach, and really there is, many more things. I was talking about the judging criteria of like size, shape, conditioning, right? But it's more to it. When each aspect you have to analyze a little bit differently. So when you go for conditioning and quality, Boniak has this like a popping muscle, round muscle bellies, and tie-ins are perfect. You can see the deep separation between the muscles, and he comes alive when he poses. That's really his trademark. Separated everywhere, always in control. So as soon as they step on the stage, of course, everybody predicted it's going to be between Dexter, William, and Rolly.
Yeah.
Dexter and William being favored because they were just 1 and 2, and Rolly was only 4th.
Yeah.
But this is going to tell you, I mean, Rolly at his best can very easily move up, which he did here. He was battling for first place after the prejudging, and then at the finals, I don't know if you've seen the score sheets, he got the perfect score, so it was like, he got the perfect score, so it was not even a question. I'll talk about the score sheets as well. There was a very, very interesting thing, and I don't want to cross anybody's, business.
Say what's on your mind, Milos. Say what's on your mind.
Yeah, of course. No, let me put this in front of everything else. I'm a huge supporter of IBB Pro League and Jim Mannion. I mean, he convinced me after so many years of being in sport. This is federation I'm representing, and this is the federation I always want to back up. Now, there was a definite mistake in judging score sheets. I'm going to reveal this later, yeah, if you see it. But let's go about the first guys. It didn't influence the top three,
Right.
so let's talk about the top three. As soon as they stepped on the stage, it was visible that there was something wrong with the Dexter.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys noticed, because I watched him since.
Oh, is this on?
Left arm, yes.
Yeah.
So it was noticeable for you guys too, right?
Oh, yeah.
There was. I was hoping maybe like judges wouldn't see it, and audience wouldn't see it, but it was visible. Yeah, I talked to him. He said that there was some injury, and he went to a doctor. He says it was nothing major, nothing torn, but there was obvious swelling, and you could see it. I mean, so more than likely, this is what excluded him from top two positions. I mean, he was in shape. I actually like him. Almost better than at Arnold, Ohio.
Yeah.
Stomach was much better. He was in control. There was some separation on quadriceps, and at this age and stage of his life, actually, he improved the size of the quads. Really, I was criticizing him for lack of separation, but for sure, Dexter Jackson improved the size of his legs. So he's probably training very hard with Psycho Fitness and Golds. So this is probably what eliminated Dexter from the running for a title.
Yeah.
And he was well liked and favored here in Australia because he won so many Australian shows before Arnold became popular here. So Dexter was out, for that reason. Now Raleigh and Winkler, it was the most beautiful thing to see. They're speaking Dutch behind the stage. Yes, they're great friends. Dexter too. There was that camaraderie. I mean, I see a lot of criticism when people say there's no camaraderie anymore. Now firsthand I've seen it. There's a great camaraderie. Those three guys, they could, of course, they compete against each other, but they were all supporting each other and shaking their hands. Let the best man win.
All right.
It was definitely between Raleigh and Boniak, and now I'm friends with both of them, and I'm not going to be biased. For me, if I'm a judge, I would still go with the Boniak, William. Yeah, I would, and but it's putting so many things in consideration. Yeah, Raleigh had that tremendous front relaxed pose.
Yeah.
So when he comes in, it was almost like back in the 90s when Lee Haney, the second he turns around to the judges and spread those lats, the show was pretty much over.
Yeah.
So I think this was the kind of impact that Raleigh had. In his speech, I don't know if you heard with Arnold.
I did.
He said, I heard what you said about my gut. It echoed in my head, and I made sure I worked very hard to streamline my midsection, make my abs deep and flat, and really, that was noticeable. Also, when I saw him pose on Thursday, the first thing that I told him, like, Raleigh, what I would say to any competitor, only thing you have to think about when you're on the stage is legs, abs, legs, abs. If your legs are separated and abs are in, even if you try to hide your other muscles, you're not, be able to.
Yeah.
So everything else is so much easier, but they put like effort into, chest, shoulders, arms. They're going nowhere. They're there, but the abs and legs being relaxed and abs let go, that's a problem. So it was, from an aesthetic standpoint, I would give it to Raleigh. Yes, he had a more V-taper.
Yeah.
Condition was good. I would still go with Williams' condition. Size-wise, like it's almost hard to say, okay, that William beats Raleigh on size because you say, Milos, are you out of your mind? But
no, I get it. I know what you mean.
Yeah, you have to look the whole physique. legs, obviously, I think the Boniek has a much more powerful and much bigger, much more separated. This is one area that I would like Rolly to improve in order to become a top contender for the Olympia.
Can I interrupt you, Milos? That's the one knock I have on Rolly's physique is I don't see much thigh separation. It's been years and years. Is it possible for him to improve that? Because it doesn't seem to have improved at all.
No bad question about it, but it's not just a separation. It is like he needs a more size and a sweep, lateralis of the quadriceps. VMO, medialis is quite good.
Yeah.
He kind of had a squarey, okay. When Sean Ray had a square-looking legs, it's not like that sweeping. For that X frame that Rolly, can be really known for as one of the best, if not the best in the world, he would need to improve his legs by the Olympia. That's what I would say. Abs were, very deep and controlled. So I was pleased. You could see the, side chest, the most muscular poses. There was striation coming. So, more than likely, Chris Cormier and I think Psycho Fitness, they probably train with him a little bit more. They emphasize that kind of squeezing kind of training that at this stage, that's what I would tell Rolly, you need it. Just, get polishment. Yeah. So I was very, very happy for Rolly, don't get me wrong. But then when I was in a moment of honestly analyzing pose by pose, I said, wow, William is still winning, and I would still, put this out there as my statement that, for me, there was William and Rolly, very close, but I would still give an edge to William.
Okay, that's fair. Now, I want to get to fourth and fifth because I would have had, and I'm not just saying this because you're his coach and because I know Hide and I like Hide, but personally, I would have put Hide in fourth and Lucas Asladl in fifth.
Well, this is what I'm saying. With this, that, okay, revealed the score sheets. It's absolute mistake. There is no way possible that this is true. Wow. In the first round, Rolly had 6 points and William 9 and Dexter 14, Lucas 21 and Hida 24. In the second round, Rolly had 7. Second place was Lucas Osladil, 11 points. So there's no way in the world that Lucas could be second, beating William Boniek 14 and Dexter Jackson 19 points.
No.
So there is absolutely some kind of mistake. And
wait, was that the posing though? Was that the posing round you're talking about?
Round two. Round two. Even if it's considered posing, there is no performance of anyone that can take such a jump. And I mean, it was entertaining posing. Nothing spectacular, a little different, yes. Yep. But you cannot, on posing alone, beat William Boniek and Dexter Jackson, like top 3 contenders of Mr. Olympia. No. So there was a huge discrepancy. And then, of course, in third round, Hida was judged ahead of Lucas, so... Hida would be fourth and Lucas fifth there. So there's definitely some kind of mistake, and I don't want to insinuate anything. It was probably honest mistake or just calculating scores, and somebody made a mistake. Yeah. So that's there is to it. And speaking of that, thank you for saying about Hida. I think there was apparent that he was best conditioned and that the fourth place should have been luck for him. Yeah. But I'm biased as his coach, so it's very hard for me to make that statement. But when you have somebody like William Boniek backstage says like Hida, well, you stand out in the conditioning, and other guys, it is not just my opinion, but the overwhelming opinion. Yeah. And this is another thing. When somebody is veteran of the sport, he competed for 12 years in IBB. At the age of 44, he's coming back renewed, better than ever. In this kind of condition, you would expect that he's going to be, awarded, not, penalized. Right. In my honest opinion, he was no lower than 7th in Arnold, Ohio, and he placed only 10. But it's only matter of opinion. So yes, Hida was 5th. Of course, moving up always is improvement, but we are not happy with the placing.
Yeah, I mean, the condition looked a little grainier to me, but he looked a little fuller. Was that, I'm looking at a webcast. You're right there. So
yeah. It is different. Even my pictures. I apologize, but I'm no technical guy. I was showing you. I have an iPhone. Don't buy iPhone 10. It's the worst thing ever. I'm serious. So like it's supposed to be a great camera, and I'm pushing there, and no, nothing is happening. I cannot zoom in and focus. There was like all kind of stuff.
you got to get a
So
Galaxy apparently if you want to take awesome pictures. That's what everybody says.
yeah,
So what did you think? I want your opinion on the UK guy, Luke Sando, in sixth
yes,
place.
yeah. Luke Sando has a very reminiscent body of Dorian, and he was making some poses alike. He is what I would say every bodybuilder's bodybuilder. Thick, huge, strong, shapely. I mean, he has a very, very good shape. I don't think he was in a top condition. He was fairly conditioned. If he improves, I know that he's competing in Indianapolis in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
If he improves in conditioning, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. I mean, he has everything with fullness, round muscle bellies, thick chest, shoulder arms, legs, everything is there. Conditioning needs to be improved. Now, I know he's being trained with Jordan Peters, another friend of mine.
Yeah.
And Jordan is like a freak of the nature, one of those guys you have to see it to believe it. Heavy duty proponent, just like Dorian.
Yeah.
And you can see this heavy duty style of training on Luke. It's still, if he's listening maybe to Dorian also nowadays, he said if he would go back, he would do like, a little bit differently, not, just one set all out, but he would prepare his body a little bit more. I do think that somebody with this kind of size that Luke has, going now on the refinement would be his best bet. And really training kind of type of training that I do with Hire, more volume, giant sets, and changing every variable, super slow squeezing, prolonged, time and attention, stretch overload on both eccentric and concentric. I mean, interestingly, not too many people put really effort and their mind into designing the workout programs. Oh, there is a chest. You do the incline, flat bench, cable cross. Maybe flies. Back, you do the rows, the pullovers, pull downs, and deadlifts. No, there's so many more things that you can do, and very specifically, you are your own artist, and bodybuilding should be art. Really, you can, sculpture your physique the way you want it.
I'm going to take a minute here because I want to promote these muscle camps of yours are doing very well. When is the next one? It looks like it's 19th through 21st March. Where is it?
It's tomorrow.
It's tomorrow. Wow. So is that in
Yes,
City
it's
Gym
tomorrow
in Sydney, Australia?
Yes, tomorrow in Sydney, I'm doing yes, thank you for plug. It's unfortunately a very short time, for people probably to respond to it. I was here in Australia already. I have some following, and people were asking me when I'm going to do it. So it's like, okay, I can possibly do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because he also had some appearances for Gaspari here, and I said, let me take this opportunity. So I'm going to Sydney tonight. I have a seminar today. Yes, and then I'm going to have the training camp next 3 days.
The only guy I really want to talk about, because I don't know if you have, did you get to talk to Kevin? Because I know something must have happened. Do you know what happened?
Yes, I mean, I'm great friends with Kevin. He is my sentimental favorite. I really wanted him to be at his best and actually, surprise everyone. Right. Now, 2 days before, I spent some time with him, and interestingly, he was showing me the pictures, like 93 version of Kevin, slice and dice, beautiful. He says, Milos, this physique won't win today. And then he showed me another, also perfectly conditioned, but a smaller version of Kevin. He said, and this won't win, like you need to be full to compete with these guys. So he was opting, to go this extreme, fullness. He was competing 250. He told me 250, before he stepped on the stage and said, Kevin, you were never over 240, back in the day. So 250, and I wasn't going to say, like, with the lesser volume in your lower body, where did it go? So yeah, as soon as he stepped on the stage, I realized, yeah, he was off, and I'm sure that he knows it. He is such a legend and such a influencer. He motivated so many of us. I mean, I was a huge fan of him.
Yeah.
Still am. I mean, following him on Instagram and seeing what he does at age of 53. 4 plates, a shoulder press behind the neck like there's nothing, bench presses like you can only imagine. And I can tell you so many stories. I mean, just one, for example, 93, we were in Germany in a gym doing a seminar, and some guy says, Kevin, I heard you can do 5 plates.
On the bench.
Bench. Okay. So what Kevin doesn't answer it. He stood up, went to the bench, put the 4 plates to warm up, 2 reps. And to put the 5 plate, and he did like 10 reps like nothing.
Wow.
So no warm up. His warm up was 4 plates. Like, Jesus. And that was before he tore his pec. Shortly after he did it, probably doing the same stupid shit like this. Like, okay, I can do this without a warm up. But anyway, yeah. So it was sad to see him, and the way Tony Doherty announced this is like the last time you've seen him pose. So that would mean the retirement, and like, oh shit. I talked to him, and I told him a couple of my theories in contest prep, which he never used, and he actually got like kind of interested. And I would, Kevin, if you're listening, don't retire. Let's do the one more show.
One more.
One more. Yeah, you're not too old. And yeah, he has everything. Okay, his midsection was not there. That was apparent.
Right.
He was either way over carved. And he is known for low carb, high fat approach.
Yeah.
Low carb, high alcohol approach.
High alcohol, boy. It's
But
true.
it's guys, you don't know. I know. So anyway, yes, I really hope he's going to do it again. I mean, it's impressive what he does at this stage of his life, 53, looking like that. But he was just not competitive.
I have to ask you because you're about the same age as Kevin. You're 50. You're 53. 50.
54. I'm a
54?
year older.
So I mean,
Don't tell.
I won't tell anybody. He trained his legs every other day for like the last 6 months, I think it was. And he felt the way he was talking, it seemed like he told me he put 3 inches on each thigh. And do you think it's impossible? Because you just talked about Dexter getting a little more leg size, and he's 48. Is it possible for Kevin to get his quads back to what they were, do you think, or close?
Absolutely. I mean, if there are no injuries, muscle is muscle. I mean, really, cells are cells. They're going to respond. There's many guys. I had a pleasure of seeing Boyer Code the other day, and he's like one of the guys that was tremendous in the late 50s. And when I asked him, he says he was improving until the age of 55, and then with some injuries. Yeah, I mean, let's talk about Albert Beckless in the age of 61, being not just competitive, but the winning Niagara Falls Pro Invitational at the time, and look at Tony Freeman, look at nobody else but Dexter Jackson. Dexter improved the size of his legs. That was apparent. The only thing that you could see, it was not much separation. Yesterday, there was more. He was maybe paying more attention, but there was distraction on his left side. His arm was, it
was messed up.
Definitely down.
Yeah, I don't know if Kevin will come back. This might be it for him. And, I mean, what else? If he came, they're not going to give him another invitation to Olympia, I don't think. I really doubt they would.
Apparently, if you win Mr. Olympia, you're forever invited. So, Samir Banu can do the contest, this year if he wants it, by rules that I remember from back then in the 90s. And like if you are top 2, I think qualification is for 2 or 3 years. That was back in the day. Obviously, that wouldn't be applicable for Kevin. It's just like, look, audience went wild. I mean, he's everybody's favorite. I don't think that anybody that touched the weight, doesn't like, Kevin and his physique. He's inspirational always.
Right. Okay. Any final thoughts, Milos?
Final thoughts. Yeah, there was actually a couple of other mentions. I want to say there was Steve Orton and from New Zealand.
Yep.
And then two Aussie guys, Sam Pierce and Nathan Williamson.
Yep.
Very nice physiques. Now Aussies, both of them look quite alike, perfect shape. They need more size, so if they are diligently working on it, and there are ways, really to put tremendous amount of size in a short period of time. Immediately after the contest, I've been saying this. I'm not promoting my business. It's just like my experience. When you're so conditioned, lean, you just finish the contest. That rebound phase, it's like a must. This is why I actually competed 72 times as a pro, because I always wanted to benefit from that, rebound phase post-competition. And you could see me improve from show to show. I think it's
I'm gonna stop because I recall, I followed your career from the very beginning as an IFBB pro. Was it '89 was your first pro show?
91.
I believe
91.
91.
91.
So I saw you in many shows, and every year you got bigger and bigger and bigger. When you first came on the scene, I thought this guy's very aesthetic. He has beautiful shape and structure and everything, but he's way too small.
Going into the maybe classic physique for a while, and then I became a bodybuilder later on. But fortunately, I knew how to improvise and create illusion to look a little bit bigger on the stage. So this is really, the secret. You need to, be your best on the day of the contest when you step foot on the stage. This is when you should look bigger, fuller, better, drier, and all that stuff. So there are many techniques on that. So these two Aussie guys are really, really, if they put it together and really, have that tunnel vision, they can be top pros. Iranian guy, Jafar Azizi, was very good.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a huge fan of Iranian bodybuilding. I really hope to God that those Iranian guys can come and start competing. Like Hadi Chapman would be such a threat in the 212 division. But not just that, there is like many guys, dozen, that can impress all the IFBB pros and pro fans.
I've seen a lot of them are always winning world championships year after year after year, but then I never see them on the pro stage. So maybe that's going to change now that there's more opportunities for them.
But just to sum it up, I kind of like what is happening. Look, there are now so many contenders for the title, and I don't know if this was kind of also a hype, But as I was saying, top 10 Olympia competitors should be able to be crisscrossed, compared, and everybody should have a legitimate shot on the title. I said Cedric McMillan, can win the title. William Boniak can win the title. Dexter can re-win it again. Raleigh, definitely. We talk about Lionel Becky. He is not considered because he didn't place that high, but he has a physique to take it to that level. So there's so many, great guys, that they're saying like, okay, it's a field title, and he is the biggest favorite, because usually, to knock off the champ, you really need to, bring something extraordinary. But I think that Big Ramy this year, taking a whole year off, is going to bring it. And a few other, Nathan can be Dasha, right? He's a tremendous competitor. Brandon Curry, all those guys, are not just contenders; they are potential contenders for a title. Yeah. If somebody, puts together and step on the stage at the absolute best, they can actually win it.
Cutler Ronnie was obviously the perfect example because he was like 7th or 8th the year before he won.
No, he was 9th.
9th.
He was 9th, 1997. Yeah, and this was exactly an example. And if you look at actually 1996 Olympia, there was at one point Ronnie standing next to Dorian. And Dorian was obviously winning, and Ronnie was not the top contender at that time. But if you really freeze for a moment and get that 1996 year erased, and then you look, if you think, okay, this is now 1998, like, oh my God, Ronnie can beat Dorian. This is that was apparent right there, but he was just like one of competitors because elite was. Sean and Kevin and Flex and Dorian Nasser. So he was not considered to be a top contender, and you see what happened. Yeah. So all these guys, like Raleigh, like William Boniak and Cedric and Brandon Curry and Big Ramy, they can be absolutely number one on whatever September Olympia stage they if they come 100% for sure ready. And again, I'm going to talk business-wise. Guys, winning means millions. Also competing, I don't agree with Sean saying second place is first loser, by no means, yeah. But, what else to expect from Sean, right? But those guys, they're so close together. So when you're training for Mr. Olympia, I mean, you have to be ripped to pieces, shredded, and then let the best man win.
Right. All right, cool. So I want you guys to all follow Milos Sarshev on Instagram. Find out where his muscle camps are if you're lucky enough to be in that part of the world. This guy is a genius. He's one of the few people I legitimately say that about. I don't throw that word around very often. Milos is a genius when it comes to training, nutrition, supplementation, pharmacology, all that stuff.
It becomes very limited thing in life, yeah.
All
I'm
the
such a
stuff
genius.
bodybuilder
I tell
needs
you,
to know.
I sent the video file to Ron like half an hour ago.
Dude, I am a moron with computers. I thank you so much, Milos. It's only 8 o'clock in the morning. You probably had very little sleep, I'm sure, last night. It's been a long weekend. It's not over yet. You got a seminar. You got your muscle camp coming up.
I have a training with Hida. Hida doesn't want to take a day off. We're training.
Unbelievable. You guys are crazy. True body.
All right. It was always a pleasure, so Ron, Steve Blackman, MD, love you guys.
All right. Thanks for watching this wrap-up of the Arnold Classic Australia with Milos the Mind Sarshev. Coverage brought to you by High Tech. Thank you. Bye-bye.